Could the newly discovered underground complex beneath Giza change everything we thought we knew? What if the most studied monument on Earth has been hiding its biggest secrets in plain sight? Scientists using advanced radar technology have just identified 15 hidden chambers and an extensive network of corridors within and beneath the Great Pyramid. How did these massive structures remain undiscovered for 4,500 years? What they found isn't just a tomb. It's an elaborate underground network that seems too vast and purposeful to be explained by conventional theories. Could this actually be evidence of an ancient subterranean complex built to serve an entire civilization? Could the ancient Egyptians, as we know them, have actually built something this sophisticated? Or could this be evidence of a more advanced prehistoric civilization that predates our conventional timeline? Were those alternative theories right all along? The Great Pyramid of Giza has stood as a monument to human ingenuity for over 4 millennia. We've studied it, measured it, scanned it, and yet somehow it continues to surprise us. What if I told you that what we see above ground is just the tip of a much larger architectural marvel? The recent discovery came through an ingenious application of technology. Researchers Filippo Biondi and Corrado Malanga applied a novel technique called Synthetic Aperture Radar Doppler tomography to essentially make the massive pyramid transparent to radar. But how does this actually work? Traditional radar can't penetrate thick stone. So instead of trying to look directly through the rock, these scientists analyzed tiny micro-movements, vibrations of the pyramid stones caused by ambient seismic noise. By studying how different parts of the pyramid vibrate, they created a high-resolution 3D image of the interior and what lies beneath. And what they found is astonishing. Not just 1 or 2 hidden chambers, but a network of approximately 15 previously unknown voids and structural elements. These aren't just small spaces either. We're talking about large inclined tunnels running upward inside the pyramid's west and east walls at roughly 42-degree angles, similar to steep ramps. These tunnels stretch from the north base all the way up to about half the pyramid's height on the south side. Connecting these 2 ascending passages is a horizontal corridor near the pyramid's south face at about 90 meters height. Imagine an inverted V inside the pyramid, a possible internal ramp or stairway system. But that's just the beginning. The radar imaging revealed descending passages branching downward from this ascending system, running underground parallel to the pyramid's base. These seem to connect to a northward subterranean corridor beneath the pyramid's foundation. Most intriguing of all, at the north base, they detected an intricate underground complex featuring a horizontal chamber with several perpendicular offshoots and even a small vertical shaft. This layout is similar to substructures found in other pyramids, suggesting Khufu's pyramid may have a previously unknown underground design. Think about what this means. For centuries, we believed we understood the internal structure of the Great Pyramid, the King's Chamber, the Queen's Chamber, the Grand Gallery, and a few connecting passages. Now, we're looking at the possibility that these known chambers represent only a fraction of what's actually there. The traditional explanation for the pyramids is straightforward. They were tombs built for the pharaohs. But if that's the case, why build such an elaborate network of chambers and passages? Why conceal so much of the structure? The sheer complexity suggests there might be more to the story. Could these hidden chambers and passageways have served a practical purpose during construction? The discovery of what appears to be an internal ramp system seems to support theories proposed by architects like Jean-Pierre Houdin, that the builders used internal ramps to raise the massive stones to the upper levels of the pyramid. But if these were simply construction ramps, why are there so many additional chambers and corridors? Why create an entire underground complex? Construction doesn't explain everything we're seeing here. Conventional Egyptology tells us that the pyramids were built during the Old Kingdom period, around 2500 BCE, using copper tools, stone hammers, and a massive workforce. They quarried and moved stones weighing up to 80 tons, aligned structures to true north with remarkable precision, and created monuments that have endured for millennia. But here's where things get interesting. The complexity and scale of this newly discovered network pushes the boundaries of what we thought possible with ancient technology. How did they excavate these chambers with such precision? How did they plan and execute such an intricate three-dimensional design without modern tools? And there's another question we need to ask. Why wasn't this discovered before? The Great Pyramid has been studied for centuries. In recent decades, it's been examined with ground-penetrating radar, microgravity surveys, and even cosmic ray muon detection. How did all these technologies miss what appears to be an extensive network of chambers? The answer might lie in the limitations of our previous methods. Traditional ground-penetrating radar can only see a few meters into dense limestone. Muon detectors, while powerful, were placed to look at specific areas within the pyramid, not necessarily what lies beneath it. The SR Doppler tomography used in this study takes a completely different approach by analyzing vibrations rather than trying to see through stone directly. This raises a profound possibility. What else might we be missing? What other ancient structures around the world might contain hidden chambers or passages that have eluded our detection methods? Let's consider some alternative explanations for what this complex might represent. Some researchers have proposed that the Great Pyramid wasn't just a tomb, but served additional functions, perhaps as an energy device, a water pump, or an astronomical observatory. The newly discovered network of chambers and passages could potentially support some of these theories. For instance, the arrangement of chambers around the King's Chamber, which the researchers refer to as a Z complex, could have had acoustic or resonant properties. The tunnels beneath the floor of the King's Chamber might have served to channel water or sound. Skeptics will rightfully point out that these ideas go far beyond conventional archaeology. But consider this. The ancient Egyptians achieved architectural and engineering feats that still impress us today. Is it so far-fetched to think they might have incorporated sophisticated design principles or technologies that we don't fully understand? The discovery also aligns with some ancient Egyptian religious concepts. In Egyptian mythology, the afterlife involved a journey through the underworld, the duat. The network of passages beneath the pyramid could symbolically represent this journey, with different chambers corresponding to different stages or challenges the deceased pharaoh would face. But there's another, more controversial possibility that we should at least consider. What if some of these structures predate the 4th dynasty of Egypt? What if they were built by an earlier, perhaps more technologically advanced civilization? This idea ventures into territory that mainstream archaeology considers fringe, but the complexity and scale of these underground features at least make us wonder. Could there have been a prehistoric civilization with advanced knowledge that was later inherited or rediscovered by the dynastic Egyptians? Ancient Egyptian texts themselves speak of earlier ages. They revered primeval ones and credited gods or demigods with starting civilization. While mainstream historians interpret these as myths, what if they contain kernels of historical truth? The engineering challenges involved in creating such an extensive underground network are enormous. Excavating chambers and tunnels hundreds of meters long through solid limestone would require sophisticated tools and techniques. The ancient Egyptians certainly had impressive engineering skills, but did they have what it would take to create something on this scale? At depths far below the water table, workers would need ways to manage flooding, provide ventilation, and illuminate their workspace. The shafts would need to be precisely aligned, and the entire structure would need to remain stable. These are significant challenges, even with modern technology. If the Old Kingdom Egyptians did build this complex, we've severely underestimated their capabilities. If an earlier civilization was responsible, then we're missing an entire chapter of human technological development. When considering who might have built such structures, we should also ask, for what purpose? The scale and complexity suggest something beyond a simple tomb. Was it a functional system, perhaps related to water management or energy generation? Was it a symbolic representation of the cosmos or the underworld? Or was it something entirely different, a purpose we haven't even considered? I should emphasize that while the SAR tomography findings are compelling, they remain to be fully verified. The method is innovative but experimental. Only physical exploration, drilling a small hole to send cameras or using robots, can confirm what's actually there. Some experts have expressed skepticism, noting that ordinary radar cannot penetrate tens of meters of dense limestone. Others have pointed out that the researchers' backgrounds in areas outside mainstream archaeology might influence their interpretations. But it's worth noting that the SAR method did correctly identify known features like the King's Chamber and Grand Gallery, lending some credibility to the findings. It also independently confirmed the big void above the Grand Gallery that was discovered in 2017 using muon tomography. What makes this discovery particularly exciting is that it provides specific targets for future exploration. If verified, these chambers could contain artifacts, inscriptions, or other archaeological treasures untouched for 4,500 years. Even a small hidden chamber could hold tools, writings, or other items that could transform our understanding of ancient Egyptian civilization. Looking to the future, what might we discover if we could physically explore these chambers? If they contain intact artifacts or inscriptions, they could provide unprecedented insights into ancient Egyptian culture, technology, and beliefs. If they're empty, the design and construction themselves would still tell us something about the builder's capabilities and intentions. And what if we find something truly unexpected? Evidence of technologies or knowledge that doesn't fit our current understanding of ancient Egypt? What if we discover proof that the pyramids served purposes beyond what conventional archaeology suggests? The mysteries of the Great Pyramid continue to deepen. Each new discovery raises as many questions as it answers. The more we learn, the more we realize how much we still don't know about one of humanity's greatest achievements. Perhaps the most profound implication of these findings is that they remind us to remain humble and open-minded in our pursuit of knowledge. The ancient world may have been far more complex and sophisticated than we've imagined. Our ancestors may have possessed knowledge and capabilities that we're only beginning to rediscover. As we stand on the threshold of potentially revolutionary discoveries beneath the Giza Plateau, we're reminded of how thin the line is between what we know and what remains hidden. The pyramids have stood as silent witnesses to millennia of human history, and they may still hold their greatest secrets deep within their stones and in the earth beneath them. What if the true purpose of the pyramids was not to point toward the heavens, but to mark something profound hidden beneath the earth? What if the most significant discovery at Giza is not what stands above the desert sands, but what lies beneath them? How deep does this structure actually go? The SAR tomography suggests features descending hundreds of meters below the surface, far deeper than any known ancient Egyptian excavation. If these findings are accurate, we're looking at engineering on a scale that challenges conventional understanding of ancient capabilities. When will we finally open these chambers? The path to physical exploration faces significant hurdles. The Egyptian authorities, rightfully protective of their heritage, would need to approve any invasive investigation. Even with approval, the engineering challenges are immense. Drilling or tunneling to reach chambers hundreds of meters deep without damaging the existing structures requires precision and care. We're potentially years away from physical confirmation, but the first steps, cross-verification with other scanning technologies, could begin soon. And what might we find when these sealed chambers are finally opened? Empty spaces alone would be significant, confirming the builder's extraordinary capabilities. But what if there's more? What if these chambers contain preserved artifacts, texts, or technological devices that have remained untouched since their creation? Could we find the actual burial of Khufu, whose mummy has never been discovered? Or something even more unexpected, evidence of purpose beyond burial? Mainstream archaeology struggles to explain these findings within conventional frameworks. The traditional view holds that the pyramids were primarily tombs, perhaps with some astronomical significance, but this extensive underground network suggests functions far beyond burial. The mainstream explanation has holes. Why would tomb builders create such an elaborate subterranean complex? Why is there no historical record of such massive underground works? If these were simply construction features, why are they so extensive? And why do they continue deep below the pyramid's base? How old are these structures really? If verified, dating will become a central question. Were they built simultaneously with the pyramids around 2500 BCE? Or could they be older, perhaps even predating dynastic Egypt? Without physical samples for radiocarbon or luminescence dating, we can only speculate. But the answer could rewrite our understanding of human technological development. Could these structures have survived the massive floods mentioned in so many ancient texts? If they extend as deep as suggested, they would have been built far below the water table, which seems nearly impossible without advanced technology. Yet if they were indeed constructed before a major flood event, whether the end of the last ice age or some other cataclysm, their depth might have been a deliberate protective measure, designed to preserve something of enormous value through the catastrophe. What if the pyramids themselves were constructed not as the primary monuments, but as markers or gateways to this more significant underground complex? What if they were built to protect or indicate what lies beneath? A legacy from either the earliest Egyptian dynasties or perhaps something even older? The answers await us in the darkness beneath the Great Pyramid, in chambers that have remained sealed and silent for thousands of years, or tens of thousands of years. We simply don't know anymore. What will we find when we finally explore those? Ancient texts that will completely shatter all of our history. Finally, proof.